Okay, divas and ghoulies and uglies, we're gonna do something a little bit different today. Hi, hello, my name is Jer, and this soup's delicious. I'm going to be ranking every one of the Halloween costumes from episode 1 of Boulet Brothers Dragula Titan Season 2. If you haven't already, go and check out my recap/review. It is on this page. There is going to be an entire Dragula Titans 2 playlist that I will regularly update as the season goes. And I think I'll do a separate video where I rank everyone. This is all in fun. This is all in my preferences. So if you have a different ordering, that's totally fine. Just be respectful in the comments. Alternative drag is something that is already so heavily critiqued, so I don't want to critique it too hard. I don't want to impose my own biases on it, but I may explain why some things are lower than others. And I'm gonna start from the number 14 spot and then work my way to 1, and I'll probably do something similar to that every video. So we're gonna start in the number 14 spot, which goes to Madeline Kahn as Mrs. White in the hit movie Clue. It's La Zavaleta as a ghost? I think my problem with Zava's look and why it ended up so low is I can't immediately tell that it is meant to be a ghost. I love a Bob. I think she was a fun performer in this challenge, but the look is pretty simple. It's just some sheets of fabric over a black morph suit. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with that. It just doesn't tell me what the character is supposed to be. I will, however, give major props to the tiny little pumpkin because they're going to a Halloween party. So Zava brought a little container for trick-or-treats. I think you could put maybe one Snickers mini in there, but that wouldn't fit a whole lot. I would have loved if it was just like a big, gigantic pumpkin container, rhinestone to filth, and like candy coming out of it, like they had already hit up all the good houses, and then had one like jumbo Hershey bar in there with the label ripped off for legal reasons. I think she looks good, it just, I couldn't tell what it was, so I think that's why it's low for me. Number 13 goes to Jade Jolie as a green witch.
Why is she green?
I honestly get the feeling that Jade did not come prepared to make this green. I think it was meant to be a flesh-colored witch. I think that is very evident by the fact that a lot of makeup thought didn't go into the hands or to the underarms, because when you prep a look, you kind of have an idea of how it all looks 360. This doesn't look like it was initially prepared to be green, and that was maybe improv'd on the fly. I think that it looks solid. This is not a bad look at all. It's just those little fine details of the makeup not being there, I think, is what drops it lower. Otherwise, I think the sleekness of the gown is really stellar. I love that red hair. I think that's gorgina. And I think for a costume party, I would think a witch. This is smart. In number 12, and please don't burn me at the stake, I have Sigourney Beaver. I love the idea of a devil, and I think the red pops well, especially on that blonde. I think the horns give me a little more tiefling than they do devil to me. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but the shape is not quite giving devil. If the horns had been black and then had those grooves in them and then maybe been turning inwards or outwards, I think that would have maybe pitched it a little more. But the fact that they go forward and kind of curve upwards gives me more of like Baldur's Gate. I think the gown is beautiful. I love that Sigourney is always leaning into glamour. That's her POV, and I enjoy that. I don't know if Sapphire Blue says devil to me. What I would have liked as a twist, because last year Eva Destruction also did a double look and we got a little twist on it. It ended up being this like sex pot fetishy devil, right? What I would have loved is like a full nude bodysuit, rhinestoned up and down like Shea Coulee's from the Love the Skin You're In runway in All Stars 5. Just like full, maybe red. Done like a full nude red devil suit, and then had that cute blue stole, removed it, and just been like a nude sexy devil. That would have been puss. In number 11 is Frankie Doom. I think this is the most costume party to me. I definitely get the vibe that this is like a classic Halloween costume, but sort of fied. I love the saturation of purple. I can't quite tell what it's supposed to be, so that does lower it. Is it meant to be a monster under the bed? Is it a werewolf? Is it a FNAF thing? I love that it's more male gendered. I love that we got those teeth, because that is something that I think quite a bit about with Frankie Doom, is that that almost angler fish, and then the zombie that also had those big teeth. Like, this is very Frankie on Dragula coded, and so I like the throwback to an old look. I think the rhinestone claws are I love the pops of green on this purple. It's a little like WeHo gay. I'm a werewolf. A roo. I think it's cute. In the number 10 spot is JK. I love Jay's look. I really enjoy the pink. I think that is such a fun interpretation on a werewolf. I love the hair. I love the ears. I think that maybe the patchwork clothes are a little too intentional. They don't look like when a werewolf transforms and all their clothes ripped off. It doesn't have that unintentional, like shredded look. Had it looked maybe like it was just shredded off, it would have launched it higher because I love the whimsy of this. And I think for a Halloween costume party situation, I think this really is effective. And then just that makeup is everything. I really enjoy the artistry and I'm excited for more of Jay's package this season. In the number 9 spot is Loris. I'll be honest, I'm not wild about the kind of flat bones, but I do think that it looks kind of hot and fetishy. I mean, that's gonna happen when you do latex, right? I like the shape of where the pelvis is. Those are some wide ass hips. I love the mohawk and that braid that goes around it. I love that it's fully covered. This is a really incredible look because it's kind of frightening. It captures that OG punk element that Dragula was looking for. And I love the body of it. Like it looks like a butch lesbian biker. And I love the shredded fringe on the arms. Like this is just a cool, sick look. I think Loris did a great job. In the number 9 spot is Dahlia's Purple People Eater, which I'm pretty sure that she confirmed on Twitter that that's what it was. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I really like this look. I think it's cool. I think maybe it's a little niche for a Halloween costume concept. I don't know how many people would have clocked that it was Purple People Eater. When I think classic Halloween costume, I'm thinking witches, mummies, even a knight perhaps, vampires, zombies. I think that even an upscaled version of her rat would have been maybe something interesting for this concept. I think it would have been cool to have done a pumpkin tribute somehow or a tribute to what Victoria did. I think the dress is really cute. I love that ribbon that's right down the middle. It's got a nice silhouette. I think the bodysuit is fun. I love that it's rhinestoned. Overall, it works, it's effective. I think the mouth is less visible than it needs to be considering that this is a performance-based challenge. You have to be able to see your mouth moving. That takes it down just a tiny bit for me, but otherwise I think it's super solid. And I think with Halloween costumes, you're thinking about vibrancy, and this stands out to me. In the number 7 spot is Cynthia Doll. So I really freaking like this vampire. I think the silhouette is off the chain. I love that it's like big, small, big. Those are proportions that I always respond to. I love that slit right up the front, giving us that nasty leg. The texture that's on the bodysuit that's almost like shards of glass is interesting. The tree bark effect of the actual dress itself, all this structure is really freaking cool. I like the piping and the way that each one of the panels have been segmented. I said this in my review, but I think what's missing from this is a little bit of fragility because you always see a little more softness in vampires. They've got something that is ornate and structural, but then there's something lacy on it or something billowy, like a silk or something, right? I think that happens with the lace that's rimming all of this. Lining. Had the circles on the wrists maybe been a soft, super chic, ruffled type of situation, I think that would have given a little more of that fragility and that would have brought it higher for me. Very happy to see Cynthia on my screen again. In the number 6 spot is Priscilla. Girl, I live. I love this disco werewolf so bad. The orange jumpsuit with the lapels that have that funky psychedelic floral pattern is sick. I love the accessories of the necklace and the earrings, those cute little sunnies. I love the hair, it's almost like Farrah Fawcett-y. It's giving me Scooby-Doo and the Ghoul School. I love this. It's themed, which I think is especially important in a challenge like this, where you're trying to, one, show your brand, show your aesthetic, but also do it through a costume and kind of be fun and campy, Halloween-y. And I think this accomplishes all of those things and also finds a specific lane to stay in, and that's in disco. Nobody else thought to do something like that or really get into an era. Everyone else kind of just did classic, straightforward costumes. This is focused, and I live. In the number 5 spot is Abora as a scarecrow. I love this a lot. This pointy shoes are an immediate eye catch for me. I look directly at those and that already sells me the story. You scroll up and there's all of this different patchwork that's happened, a bunch of different fabrics and materials used to create this. There's some viscera that's on the chest, which is kind of gross. It adds that tenet of filth of dragula that nobody else did. Like, nobody thought to do filth except for Abora, and I love that. I think the overall look is something like a scarecrow over the eras. Like, this has just been in someone's family farm for years and has constantly been patched up with fabrics that happen to show up that they were able to put on it. It's really cool. It's also kind of giving to me a little bit of like Doctor Who, The Family of Blood, when the one guy is locked inside the scarecrow body. So like the crows are constantly picking at these scarecrows, right? So if there's a person that's living in this, if there's some kind of consciousness inside this scarecrow, it's just the human part of it is slowly being picked out by the crows, and that's gross to me, and I love that. It's an effective look. It works for the brief. No other notes. In number 4, we have Eva Destruction. This is a skeleton. This is bones. I love, love, love the neon green glow-in-the-dark effect of this. It's very cool. It's not just a skeleton. It's also high-key a Grim Reaper. It's kind of giving to me Monster Prom. I forget what the character's name is, but there's a character in there that is a skeleton and is the Grim Reaper. They, them pronouns, sickening. I love the robe of this. I love the hair that's sculpted. I like the fingers. It's kind of creepy, but a little Home Depot. I don't know if I hate that. I like the effect of the makeup going down the leg. This soft brocade that's lining the coat is super luxe. I like the way that it's been tied off. It gives a little sexuality. It's a little sultry. It's creepy. It's giving that person that went to the Halloween party and went in because they love Halloween. And I love that. In the number 3 spot, this might be a little bit unpopular, but I live for Disasterina's Wizard. I love every detail about this, from the hat that's got all the stars on it, scrolling down through this cool costume that's like kind of Ren Fair, and then there's all of these different effects that are on the skirt part. And Disasterina was inspired by a childhood memory. And so I think bringing your childhood and something that is meaningful to you to a competition series and using that as your point of inspiration for a look, I think is one vulnerability that I like to see from drag performers, but also is just a cool reference point that nobody else thought about. Also, I think a wizard is a great addition to a Halloween party. I love the staff. It's giving me everything that I always want to see from the D&D challenges, but I don't feel like the ghouls always push it enough. I think the orange hair is a great pop on this purple. It's all immaculate color theory. Disasterina really did it for me, and I thought they were one of the top placers of the night. And then number 2 and number 1 were so hard for me, but I chose the number 2 spot as Blackberry. This mummy is sick. I can't compliment this enough. And what I like the most about it is that there's a green morph suit, I can only assume, underneath all of the shreds of fabric underneath the mummification. There are these cool pops of color underneath that draw visual interest as you're scrolling up and down the look. I love the camp of the giant breasts and then this huge drag queen necklace that somehow does look a little Egyptian, even if it's slightly off topic. It looks drag. And I think the difference of these top 2 spots, actually, you know what, top 3. The difference with these top 3 looks that I've chosen, these are drag looks. And when you look at Blackberry's, from the tall hair, this big old beehive hair, going down to the big old breasts, the way that everything has been styled and put together, this is drag. A lot of the other looks are earnest costuming, and I think that happens a lot with Dragula. We have these cool monsters that come on, they give their POVs, they're great at what they do, but a lot of what their aesthetic is being a horror icon in their own universe. And this blends all of those things with drag. Like, this is drag. I love it. I cannot say enough good things about it. And the makeup is everything. That makeup is so good, and I love that little mustache. And then my number one spot, for the exact same reason that I already said with Blackberry, is Jaharia. One, dragoon represented here. From the face, to the hair, to the way that it's been nipped in at the waist to create this Black Widow, the big bust, the big hips. I think the only thing I'm not crazy about that I would have loved if there was just a small change in detail was the fact that you can see the nude foot underneath it. I would have loved if there had been like a black tight just to hide that. But I love the latex. I love the artistry and creativity of creating the arms. From what I remember, I think she said these were pool noodles, and that's a cool use of construction. It's a great way of using your resources. And drag doesn't have to be $10,000. You can create a badass look using everyday materials, and that's what I think Jaharia did. And then especially that makeup is so graphic and interesting. It looks like it popped out of a comic. I love the way that hair is so glam. It's like Met Gala meets like Oscars. And I think a Black Widow spider is a glam creature. Love this look. It is absolutely hands down my favorite, and I am so excited to see what Jaharia brings this season. They have had the most growth, I think, from their short time being of the show, and I'm so glad the Boulets asked Jaharia to come back. I can't wait to see what more they do. What was the order of your favorite looks? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see y'all next week for another Dragula video. See y'all on the flip.